when I'm overwhelmed or I know I'm close to getting burnt out, I try to take a minute for myself, and like being in your chair just calms me down. I feel a little refreshed when you do my hair, which she did not today. I probably need you in there. So I feel more like, just a little bit of taking care of yourself. And I feel like that's what you all do so good at, is like making a woman feel good about herself. So I know when I get that, just the shampoo, and I can relax and my hair's clean and I don't have to wash it the next day.
Yes.
I feel like a different woman. Like I walk out with like confidence and just a nice reset. So I encourage that. Okay. All right. Extraordinary Together, Empowered Moms. We are back with like the coolest girl ever. This is Emily, the best hairstylist on the planet. Yours is probably great too. I kid. Okay, so we got to do like the coolest in salon session ever. And the whole key point of that was to talk about how moms need to like take a break, take care of themselves, super important. And I always come to you with my hair like disgusting. I'm like, sorry, Emily.
Don't wash it beforehand.
Don't
let me do that part.
Come for the magic. Oh,
Yes.
the whole
Let me do that part.
whole magic happen. And I'm like, I'm sorry. One time you're like, well, if you cared, you'd wash it. And I'm like, you're right, I don't.
Yeah,
so
no. Don't care. That's my job. Let me do that.
Okay, so it's wine time. We're at that hour. You're Dr. Pepper. No wine for you.
No wine.
So I think I came to you that day, like just when I'm overwhelmed or I know I'm close to getting burnt out, I try to take a minute for myself, and like being in your chair just calms me down. I feel a little refreshed when you do my hair, which she did not today. I probably need you in there. So I feel more like, just a little bit of taking care of yourself. And I feel like that's what you all do so good at, is like making a woman feel good about herself. So I know when I get that, just the shampoo, and I can relax and my hair's clean and I don't have to wash it the next day.
Yes.
I feel like a different woman. Like I walk out with like confidence and just a nice reset. So I encourage that. If you like, just go get a blowout. Take the lowest tier girl. If you're like, I don't want to spend a lot of money. Every salon has like tiers.
Yeah.
And
that's the best way to learn too, because the new stylists, they're learning anyways. So you're both getting to do it together. You get the reward of getting to sit and relax and not have to think about it. And then they're getting really valuable training too, that they get to work with so many different people, and that's the most rewarding part of our job. It's not the hair, like, and for you it is the hair, but for us it's that like feeding into you and like loving on you. So yeah, I think that's like the best person to go with, because they get to build that confidence too.
Yes, I love that. So yeah, if you're like budgeting more and you're like, well, I can't go to my girl every time, just call and be like, hey, do you have different tiers? Who's new that needs practice? And go get your shampoo and blowout, because you can't mess up a shampoo and blowout.
You can even go to the schools, like dead serious. Go to the hair schools. They might not know what they're doing yet with the other stuff, but if they wash your hair, you're still getting your hair washed. You're still taking that time.
I did that in the days of like being a stay-at-home mom, being careful with our budget. I did the school. Our shampoo.
I think it's like $5 or $10, and you can't be. I mean, it's
they're
still they're so nice.
They're so happy.
They're like still excited about their job. Like they're like, I get to do this. So yeah. Exactly. No, seriously, you get to like do a real person. So it's like, hey, I don't care like what your hair looks like. I have people come in after like 2 weeks, and it was like so rewarding to be that person that just let them sit down and I'll take care of it. Your life's been too crazy. You haven't had the time to take care of yourself. So let me do that for you.
Yes. So I encourage that. Like if you need a timeout and you can get your hubby to take over with the kids, like go get a shampoo, blowout, pedicure, if you can have that in too. Yeah. So that was the important piece of it, is like doing that self-care for moms. Like you have permission, you need to do it. You need to call more. Don't just wait for your 3-month visit. Like call in between, get a toner put on, get a little blowout.
It's a treat that like you don't have to work for. You get to go in and just put everything down. Leave your phone outside if you want to. Just detach for a little while.
I saw last time I was there, a girl with her phone in the shampoo room. Did you notice that? Did you see my face go?
No way. No way.
You're missing out, girl.
When someone lays back and I see them texting, I almost feel like I need to take my phone and be like, give me that. You're not allowed to do that right now. Yeah. I'm going to get a little bucket and just be like, you have to leave it there. You're not allowed to touch it. The worst is like, I understand people having to work, but when you bring the computer in and everything, like I feel like it's a disservice. You're not, and I know it's you too, but I'm always like, I feel like you're missing out on such a valuable chance to just have no one around.
Guilty.
So, yeah,
so
you have to like turn the world off for at least an hour.
You should. I mean, we should give ourselves permission to do that. I think as moms, like we try to multitask too. So it's like I always feel like I'm gonna keep my computer. She's doing this and I'm doing this. And yeah, I do. I lose out on that, like, well, us getting to chat through life, which I love. So let's do, all right, we want to hit self-care, which is super important for moms. Like, do the extra treat for yourself. You brought up like some of the best tips on the planet, so we're gonna go through some of that stuff too.
Okay.
But you want to do confessions?
Oh gosh, yeah,
gossip?
okay, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, okay. I'm like, okay, yeah, totally.
All right, give me like your worst salon experience.
Oh gosh, like, what do you mean? Like
anything terrible, weird, crazy, gross happen? Like, what's your like cringe?
Cringe, probably. Like, this is bad, but I just said something about the 2-weeker. I have a 2-weeker. I love her, and I haven't seen her in a while, so I'm also wondering if it's gonna be like a 2-monther this time. No. But yeah, the people, like, you got to use a little dry shampoo. You got to use a little oil, something. I feel like that's my like horror story is when I can tell someone just has not had. I mean, even like a second to wash their hair, it's so, and it's so dangerous for your hair. Yeah. Your hair stops growing if you put all that like build up on your scalp. As soon as you go to wash it, you're like, there's a lot of follicles that are clogged up. And like, that's horror story for me. Cause then it's like, how do I fix my hair and grow it? It's like, you can't do that if it's suffocating or all that oil and build up.
Yeah. I feel like you need mine.
Yeah, no, usually those days I'm like, I need mine right now. Yeah.
So I should share.
Yes, I feel like that, and then also too, usually it's the hey, I tried to do it myself, and then it turns into like now they have to spend 6 hours with me fixing something that could have been like a lot of money. When it's like you could have just come to me and been like a $60 toner, and your hair would have been healthier and better, and it's like I feel like I'm the bad guy, and I'm like I wish I could fix this, but we, there's a mess we've got to create, like fix, and you created it, and I don't know how to go in and not destroy your hair. Those are horror stories for sure.
Any other crazy?
Usually,
you gotta throw somebody on the bus. That's how we gotta be careful. Yeah. We're in a small town.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm like about to call somebody on. Usually, I feel like the crazy is the like I feel like as a stylist, you get like something that like it's like your standards of like I'm not gonna go this, like I'm not gonna do this to someone's hair, and then like someone not actually like listening to that, and then they take it into their own hands, and like then they'll come back to you and they're like, I did this thing you said my hair can't handle, and now like can you make it better? And I'm like, I can't. And
you didn't listen.
So I run into that a lot. Yeah,
or
it's like if you have someone that's gonna be honest with you and be like, hey, this isn't gonna work, usually it's probably because we don't want to.
I love how you shoot it straight. You're always like, if you're gonna come in here and spend a lot of money on your hair, because I have extensions, I'm not afraid to admit that. After kids, my really pretty thick hair was fine, and I didn't like it anymore. I was tired of not feeling confident. So this is like my confidence booster.
You're like, same here. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Or it saves me time because I'm not using all the products and trying to tease and volumize. I can just get up and it's ready. Yeah. But you're like, if you're gonna spend that much on your hair and then you're gonna use a really cheap garbage shampoo, don't come to me and wonder why your hair sucks.
Or you come to me and you're like, hey, so I air dry, or like I wash it and then I immediately lay in the bed on it, and it's like. I mean, maybe I've done that a time or two, but I can tell that I've done it because my hair shows that. And so for me, it's like, I want to give people as much like reinforcement. Like, hey, if you get something like this, take the extra time, come in and see me. I'll wash it for you. Like, you don't even have to wash it. Like, just book that now. Come in once a week. I'll wash it because it's such a priority. Like, if you're investing all that money in your hair and you want good quality, you can't go home and just take it and wash it down the drain. Literally.
So. And like you're not trying to sell, like you've never oversold, and I love that about you too. Like you are genuine about the education part, and like if you put this on your hair, you're gonna know it's good for you.
I'm not a name brand person. Like I love certain companies, but for me it's like what is the active ingredient, what is gonna do to your hair, and what is like the clinical studies for it. And if I find something out has like, split end recovery or something like medicinal in a sense where it's actually treating a problem, like I'm gonna prefer that before I ever recommend something just because it's like a certain brand. And so I think that's another thing is like you can't get too like brand loyal because it's like if you get like product happy, you have like all of a whole company under your cabinet, you don't know what to even use. So I feel like some people try to have like 100 products. It's like I find like 3 good ones and I call it a day, and I try to give everyone like a little system because you don't need all that.
You don't.
No,
you really don't.
I have all that, but it's because I've bought it all over the years. But that way, I can show you what works. I own it all. I have to test it out, so I own it all, so I can show other people what works.
Yeah, you've been so good about that. I feel like I'm now like happy with where I am with everything I use.
And if I find something new that really works, like I will kind of shove it at people because I'm like, this stuff works, but you have to try this. But
all of the stuff, like as far as like I know you talked about like the scalp health and like really scrubbing your scalp and getting all that buildup off, which is, I mean, I've noticed more hair growth and stuff since I listened to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like a lot of the time too, people like feel like they need something for like every single issue, and there are products you can get that'll cure most of your problem in like one product.
Yeah.
And so if you're putting too much on your hair too, you're not doing any service to your hair. You're hurting your budget, you're hurting your hair because you're wasting product. And then also too, who wants to touch their hair and feel like they've got like a helmet on their head? And I don't, I'm never going to be like, here's a whole 10 regimen, 10 product regimen, 10 steps, all that, and you're glued in place. Like, we want our hair to last days, not a whole.
It's like skincare. You want like cleanse, tone, moisture.
Exactly.
Like, you get me a little exfoliator here and there, and I'm good.
We don't need a cream for every individual hair on our head. Yeah.
Yep. So crazy thing. I was just talking to my mom yesterday, and I felt like we need to just address this as women. Okay, she's a grandma, so I'm not gonna throw her age out there. She'll tell me. But she's old enough to know better. So I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm driving to meet my friend at her salon. And I'm like, what are you going to her salon? Like, you guys just hanging out together? And she's like, no, she's afraid to tell her stylist that she's not cutting her hair the way that she likes it. So she wants me to come along as like her backup. And I was like, are we still doing this as women? Like, we can't tell our stylists, like, you want to know, right? Like, you want clear communication.
I need a picture, at least one. I prefer, this is like maybe weird, but I love when somebody shows me something they don't want.
Okay.
Like, please tell me, like, I don't like this part. If you find a picture.
Bring your yeses in.
Bring your yeses in your nose. Because sometimes, honestly, with like, I can't make a picture into someone's hair, but I can take what they like from those pictures. And like, let's say they like a certain, like where something hits on their face, or like, I like how her jawbones look. Like, I can go from there and like make it very like unique to them. And so if I'm like looking at this picture and having to perfectly recreate it, I'm really not giving them the best cut. So for me, like getting something I don't want to see, I don't want them to like be able to see, I want to cover my forehead. Like if I know like those things, it actually makes my job a lot easier. And so
you gotta communicate. Like I feel like that permission too. Like as moms, we're like the people pleasers. So we sit in that chair and we'll even walk out like, but I wanted it a little shorter. I wanted this little bit.
Or you get it, or like you're sitting in my chair and you're like, I love it. And then like 10 minutes later, you're in the parking lot crying in the car. And I'm getting a text. It's like, I hate it. And it's like, I want you to come to me. I want you to not even leave the building. If you're not happy, like you need to come back. And I feel like people are scared to communicate it a lot because it's like, oh, I don't want to disappoint her. But it's like, it's not personal. It's very personal to you as a customer. But like for me, it's never going to be personal if you don't like something. It's my job to make you happy. I'm going to be offended if you leave and tell everyone I didn't do what you wanted, but you told me I did. Yeah.
And you don't want people out there like, she cut it too short. Or
listen.
Or the girl that shows you a picture and says nothing and you give her that. It's the opposite. Like that's what she didn't want. Like, like say the word.
That actually happened the other day. I had a girl. Did I tell you about that? She's like, this is what I want. And then we did it. And then she's like, wait, no, that's what I meant I didn't want. And I was like, oh my gosh. So it creates, more, it's a nightmare. And then suddenly your hair is not as healthy as it used to be because I can't get it back to where it was without, some type of compromise. Yeah. But I feel like people are scared to tell us the truth. And it's so important. It's so
still women in their 60s are still afraid. So it's not like an isolated thing where like just one of us. And I know before we had a more open thing. I'm like, I do it. Like, it's fine. This is good.
Great.
It's not though. So I think we need that permission to say like, just communicate.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's a very safe space. Like it's, at the end of the day, I'm not going home with your hair. So for me, it's like I want your hair to be happy. I want you to be happy with your hair because you matter more. Like your hair matters to me. Don't get me wrong. But if you're unhappy, it's not about the hair at that point. It's about like the relationship we built. And even if it's a new stylist, like they take pride in their work. We do, and we want you to be happy. We don't do it for our own gain. I don't gain anything by giving someone the bob they don't want. At the end of the day, I just feel like I did them a disservice.
Yeah, for sure. So like talk to your communicate. It's okay. It's safe.
If you're scared, tell them something too long because then you could always be like, hey, what about a little shorter?
Yeah.
But, if you want to do something crazy different, find steps on the way there. Maybe don't show them the like pixie to start off with. Start with the bob and then be like, what about this? Like work your way up and understand that like the first time someone does your hair, they don't know you. They don't know your lifestyle. They don't know what you're going to do every day. So if you can share that information with your stylist at the beginning of the appointment, that is so much more important because if I know you're not going to blow dry it every day, I need to know that going into it before I give you something you can't do without blow dry.
So like I'm a busy mom. I've got this amount of time. I'm only going to watch it this many days. Like here's
all of that.
I mean, I'm like, I don't want to see red in my hair, and I know I have a round face, so fix it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to be a magician, but like,
yeah.
compliment.
Right.
So I think having that open dialogue of like, what, ask them. Like,
Yeah.
you guys are, you study this.
Oh yeah, and being open to suggestion too. Like color theory is such a science.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you might love that ashy tone on someone, but if you take their face out of it and replace it with yours, if you've got warm undertones, that tone might not sit well with you. So it's just being open to like maybe even finding pictures that are in your skin tone range more than the hair that you want. Just kind of finding something that matches more with who you are. And it can be built around that. Because sometimes I won't start something if someone shows me a picture and it's so out of left field. Like it wouldn't compliment them well. I'll kind of direct them, and you know, I'm never going to be like, I'm not doing what you want, but I feel like most times I'll do what they want, and the next time I see them, they're like, hey, I like your idea.
You were right.
I'm like, okay, cool. And it's not it's not prideful. It's more like, hey, I've studied this, so like I know the education, and I can tell.
The wealth of knowledge that you are behind that chair, because I think when you stand behind a chair, it is intimidating.
Yeah.
And it's like you're vulnerable because your hair, I mean, for most women, it's where a lot of your confidence comes from. Like we have this hair confidence, and you're back there and you have this, you are just this genius of hair knowledge, and we're just sitting there going, it's just one little trick.
Yeah, and it's like I'm standing over you, usually behind you, you know, it's very intimidating.
Break it down.
Yeah.
Like, just break it down.
We're
gotta communicate.
Communicators, and at the end of the day, we usually communicate too much. So if you can get us talking about hair, we're passionate about it. We'll talk about the other stuff later, but my priority is your hair, your routine, your lifestyle. Even like if you go to the games on the weekends, you're out in the sun a lot. Like I need to know those things to like plan your color out. So for me, it's like I need to know who you are before I can even do your hair. So those things are really important. Having that confidence to sit down and be like, this is what's important to me about like my lifestyle, my color choices. Like you have to reroute people sometimes in order to give them something that will last them until you see them again.
For sure. Oh, that's another thing too. I feel like you always have that, like, here's how to maintain until I see you. Like it's, you're brilliant in this stuff. And you all study it, like exactly with the skin tones and the color matches. That's so much work that you all put into knowing those things.
It's like once you start learning it though, you want to like understand all of it. So for me, it's like if I don't understand something, I'm probably in the back, like before I start something, Googling like, hey, they have yellow tones in their eyes. What form, like looking at other people's formula ideas or like we study the other people's like formulations and stuff. Yeah. Oh, like we're in the back room like Googling like, hey, what developer should I use? You know,
I hear you asking each other
all
a lot
all the
like,
time.
There's so much communication between you, which I love.
Our team, it was like if I start a color and I don't have at least one person ask me what I'm doing, like I feel like I'm doing something wrong because I want to be able to bounce it off of them. I can't tell you how many times I've thought of a color, walked to the color bar, like started to mix it, and then like before I pour the bottle, I turn around and I'm like, hey, someone come here, and then we'll talk it through, and I'll just adjust something like 5 grams, 10 grams. Like I make usually most of the people I do get like a really custom color. I can't just take a bottle and pour it. So I like have like 3 colors in there to like warm up certain things, cool down certain things, like create like a really nice richness to the hair color.
Yeah.
But I will always be like, hey, is this crazy? Is like this unnecessary to add to their color? Because I'm also thinking like, hey, have you used this and what is that faded like? Like I like to, I want your color to fade pretty too. I don't want it to just look good when you leave. So for me, it's a lot of chatting with other people because otherwise, like, I don't feel like I'd be better at my job. I feel like I'd be in my own head too much.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure you get in your own head. That's gotta be scary on that side of the chair.
Yeah.
Like,
it is a little sometimes.
Oh my gosh, like pressure.
No, I had a lady today, literally, she was like, she wanted like highlights underneath and she texted me at like 10 a.m. And before she even got to her appointment, it was at 3:30. Before she even got to her appointment, I had already talked to everyone in that building. We had drawn diagrams in the back of how we were going to like place her color in her head. And I think everyone had a different idea. And at the end of it, I kind of combined all of them because her head shape, the things that like where it would lay, like we were back there doing like chemistry and like drawing triangles on heads to try to figure out where things went.
That's wild.
So it's not just like I'm going to slap foils in your hair, call it a day. Like I want to know where that color is going to go when you pull it forward. If you wear your hair up, I need to know that. Like it's a lot of details that go into it, but if it wasn't details, I don't think I'd even learn it. Like I need that. That's what like feeds the.
Oh, see, that feels like pressure.
It's so fun.
It's so fun. Like just thinking about like balancing all these ideas and like the formulas. Oh, you do it really well.
Well, it's scary. It's really scary when you have a blonde in your chair and they want to be ashy, knowing that you have to put blue on their hair and hope it doesn't turn blue. You make that mistake one time, hopefully on your mom, and then you never do it again. Yeah. I was like, my mom turned blue once, and I was like, okay, I know how to not do that now. But yeah, you have to be open to like making that mistake too, though. Like I feel like a lot of people they don't want to experiment with color because they're like, oh, I don't know how it'll turn out, but like
Or they can do that one thing.
It's not a
It's like
tattoo.
the cookie
Yeah, just pick,
like,
yeah.
"Aw."
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's brown. Like,
Yeah.
you made brown.
Same
Yeah.
brown.
But for me, it's like a game of, where can I create something different for you that speaks to like longevity is my number one priority, always. Like, I want something to last. I know I don't want to get my hair done every 6 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I want to get it done every 3 months,
Yeah.
And so if I can do that for other people, some people it's like too soon. They come back in and they're like, I didn't really get grow out. That's like the point. Like, yeah, you're welcome. But and I think a lot of people are starting to embrace their grays, which I love that. That's like I'm building my career off that. I don't want to cover gray hair. I like gray. Don't get me, I'll cover it. But if I have someone that wants to, I'll cover it. I'm like, I will cover it. Don't get me wrong. You'll get it covered.
Okay.
But I've started to do a lot of blending because it's just, it's cool. Like people are.
I don't think I have enough yet to like blend it. I have a couple that are like weird.
Yeah, the people that are like fully gray and they're in every 3 weeks, like they are tired of coming in. It's not fun for them anymore. And I want it to be fun and it's expensive. And then, I mean, they like the blowout part, so it's worth it to them. But if they could come get a blowout every 4 weeks and get their color done every 3 months, like I feel like I'm doing them a service because it's like, hey, I don't need to see you that soon. Color's still gonna look good. There's a lot of options with that. I'll put like permanent color on people sometimes. I've foiled like their natural color into their gray to like make it look like a highlight. I've done a lot. It's super cool because then like I'll leave out like their grays here and here, which are the ones no one wants to see.
Yeah.
But it's because they're like this long. So once they get to like this long, it becomes like a little natural money piece. And so for me, it's like a game of finding it. I have one lady, she's got white hair all over, but here her hair changes to like dark gray. So we take everything in front of her ears and I put dark gray in the white. So her whole head looks like it's one color. When in reality, it's like white and gray. So it's really cool. Like I customize, like she looks goofy. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, she has foils just in the front, but like at the end, it's like, oh, that was worth it. Yeah. And I see her like every 4 months. So it's, you can make it last. So, and that's the fun thing. Even people with gray hair can like have low maintenance.
Embrace it. I feel like that's like the safe space too, to say like, what do you think would work well on my hair? Like, here's a picture I like, but like, what do you, but you're always good about that with mine too. Like with your skin tone, try this, or make sure you don't want to do this here because of your grow out. So I feel like if people would just ask, they'd be so much happier.
I think if you go into it like, this is what I want, and you don't want to change it, you're going to run into like, you're almost going to feel like I'm not doing the best I could because I'm put in a box almost.
Yeah.
But if you tell me I don't like warm or I don't like cool and I don't like to be black, but I don't like to have white, if we can jump in between there, create like dimension, there's a lot more. Your hairdresser can do so much more for you if you give them like an open canvas within like limitations.
Yeah.
And so I think going in with like one image in mind can really disservice people and like, not give them the best look for what they want.
Yeah. And I think too, like probably more social media is probably horrible for you all. Yeah. It's like, I can't make you that.
I can't tell you how many times I've had people tell me. I'm like halfway through and people are like, oh, that's not how they did it on TikTok. And I'm like, I don't even know what video you're talking about.
And I can't do that because you're not the TikTok
You're not,
girl.
yeah. So, and the way they did it on TikTok, she's gonna come back in 3 weeks. Like can I make it last a little bit longer? And if you don't want to, that's cool. But even when I do, like, had people like hold their phone and we'd like watch the TikTok and I will like place the color because I was trying to just do what they asked.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, so I'm gonna just follow this step by step. I did it step by step and they still weren't pleased with the results. But it's my job to be like, hey, if I do exactly this on your hair is different than her hair.
Yeah.
You're not going to turn out right. So,
so many of those images are filtered.
Exactly. Or like, AI. If I get one more AI haircut, they're like, I like the layers. And it's just like this like soft, like whooshing computer generated. My mom does that. Like she'll show me an AI photo. And I'm like, I can't do anything with AI photos. People have shown me anime characters like with white hair and they've been like, can you do this? And like, I'm like, that's a cartoon. They're so good. Like, that is literally animated. Like,
I would love to figure it out for you.
Seriously. I'm like, yeah, I can. Let me get my AI out and give you a picture of yourself like that. Yeah, it's kind of it makes it hard for us like to go in and try to create pictures.
So like communicate well with the open.
Oh yeah, communicate. You have to be open to the suggestions for the stylist.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. I love that. And I love that you take care of people in that way. So if you don't have a salon that has a nice shampoo / massage, you should find one.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Then this massage And just the shampoo and the quiet, it's dark, it's just the best. And I know you always get to like my neck and you're like, what happens in your life?
Oh yeah, no. I love it when I'm rubbing someone's neck and I can just feel the like I'm like, what do you do all
What do
day?
you-
Like, I'm like, what is like you have a brick wall right
Are
here.
you okay?
Yeah, like do you need a full back massage? Because we can figure something
gonna
out.
call
Yeah,
someone.
we're calling someone after this. I've got the chiropractor on speed dial. We're gonna get him in here
Yes,
too.
I feel
Yeah.
like I could use both
Oh
of
yeah.
those. But that shampoo, it's just, it's so therapeutic all the way around. And I know like the scalp health that comes with that too.
Well, and
So,
like I don't shampoo my own head that good, so it's like you need someone
Yeah.
else to wash your hair and
Yeah.
like get in there because it's the buildup is hard to get if you're just up here trying to shampoo.
Yeah.
Having someone else do it, it's the cleanest your head off. Like, it's
so like,
amazing.
it's not even like a treat yourself for moms at this point. It's like a critical thing to like go get your hair
Absolutely,
taken
yeah.
care of.
Absolutely, even if it's just like a special, like, oh, I'm gonna go on my birthday, like,
Yeah.
do it often enough that you feel like it's a treat.
Yep.
But like, it's still taking care of you. It's not
Yep.
an unnecessary treat in any way.
Yep.
Kind of like
sure.
pedicure for like health of your,
Yeah,
you know,
your
it's
feet,
not,
your nails.
you don't need
yeah.
it every 2 weeks, but you know.
Let's see what you're talking about here. Oh, okay. So how to use your product.
Yes.
Like my favorite thing was like I feel like such a dum dum because I really always smashed my mousse.
The mousse, you like go like this with it. Yeah.
Like, that's what you
That's
do.
what you do. Yeah, that's how you're supposed to. You turn the can upside down, you squish it up.
Turns out,
No.
surprise, there's a reason it comes out foamy and it's not to push it in your hand.
Just kill the bubbles as soon as they yeah. Like, let me rub it all over.
It comes out foamy.
So then you take it and you just kind of break it up like little tiny clouds on your hands. And then you just go in and tap it on so you can see where the mousse is going. And so you're going to end up mushing it at some point. But if you're taking like little sections, pushing it in there, do that all over the top. And then you have like that little bit left on your hands. That's when you can go in and kind of mush it around, make it more of a liquid, and then rub it in because those bubbles are going to go in the hair where they need to go. Yep. If you take it, mush it, and just go like this, you're going to have that like stiff line in your hair. And then you go to blow dry it, and suddenly you got like a crispy like section of hair you can't get dry.
I know. I mean, we didn't know. We're amateurs. We don't have this information. No. Same with like the oil. I have oily hair, but my ends still. I was always terrified of oil because I'm like, it's gonna make me more oily. But my ends. You need it. I'm like, what did you say here? I like here down. Usually I'll do it like ears down because you're not anywhere near your scalp. Yes. If you are putting oil on, usually I feel like this is what I'll get people to show me how they do it. And 9 times out of 10, what they do is they'll put it on their hands and then they go like this. So I'll get them to like act it out. It's like you almost want to take it, and usually what I'll do is I'll take and like coat the back of my hands and in between my fingers, take the back of my hands and I'll run it like under and kind of pick my hair up to get that hair, and then I'll take and like pull the rest of it like on the top, and then what's in between my fingers, that's when I'll like rub that back in, and that's when I'll hit these little pieces, or like I might take it up here, but it's just whatever. Like if someone's got a really oily scalp, probably don't do anything higher than your ears, but for me, I'll just go in and just kind of like take the residue of what's left and, you know, put it on the little ends at the top. But oil is like the most natural product ever. So it's like, why were you scared of oil, you know? But you need like 1 pump, not like 10 pumps. You don't want to go in there and put the whole. I'm sparing with it. Yeah. I'm very like. I feel like a bottle of oil should last you like years. Like it should last you a while. The same Kerastase oil was probably 3 years. You can make, but it was the big bottle. Yeah. So. Yeah, if I use oil, I'll start with a pump at a time. And then like curly people, if they've got like more of like a type C curl where it's like super kinky, I'll go in and do 1 pump on one side. So I like do that same like method, but I'll just do like one side and then I'll do the other side. So that way you can really do it. Cause I feel like people get the oil all down the back of their head and then like right here. And then this is where we need it. So yeah. Oil hair's not great. No, that's crazy. Not good at all. Another product that I feel like people don't use the best is dry shampoo. Okay, guilty. Yes, guilty. Because I would come in and be like, "This doesn't work." It's like, no, use it on day 1, not day 6. Hair deodorant. Use it as soon as your hair is clean and dry. Blow it out. Put the oil on your ends. Put a puff of dry shampoo. Like you don't want to have that white cakey feeling yet. You can add to it and get to that point. And I'm guilty of that. I've got like 3 I use at a time. Yeah. But if you go in with the single dry shampoo starting out with, and you know just put it in a little bit, day 3 you're not going to feel as greasy. It's going to absorb it as it happens. Yeah. So. Oh, I was so guilty of that. I would get to the point of like greasy hair that needed washed. And I'm like, well, this is what dry shampoo is for. And I put it on and be like, well, that it's like suddenly got white roots. Like if I wash my hair that morning
Yeah.
before I go to bed that night, I start the dry shampoo and
Yes, it makes
here's the kicker. It works
it like
now.
kind of works, doesn't it? Yeah.
And I loved your analogy of like you don't put deodorant on once you stink.
Yeah.
Like, it's the exact. I'm like, yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
It's hair
yeah. It's gonna just
deodorant.
like mask it. You're still gonna be a little
No,
stinky,
it
but
stinks.
if you put the, I mean, you think like oil's like a
Yeah.
liquid, and then you've got powder on top of it. You got that like white halo
Yes.
on your head. But if there's nothing in your hair yet, it just goes in, dissolves itself, and then as the oil happens, it just like disappears.
It's magic.
So much
Yeah, it's amazing how these products work. And that's another thing too. I feel like women will walk out with like the product and they're just like, it's in the bag and they go home and try to figure it out. But like ask if you're buying it, like how do I use this well?
And also, I feel like if you go in, buy a product, and the person selling it to you does not try to teach you how to use it,
yeah, shame on them.
Shame on them. But also, there are so many apps. Like you can go on Google, TikTok, anything like that. People are referring stuff online.
Yeah.
If you got an oil, all oils are pretty similar. Dry shampoo, they're all pretty similar. Mousse, and like they're all application wise, they're all very similar. So you know how to use one, you know how to use all of them. So if you've got like a good video, good person to ask, that's really good. But the hairdresser definitely should be the one teaching you.
Like when I started asking questions, when I went from the girl in the chair that was afraid to say anything and just I would leave with whatever it was, and I'm like, it's hair, it'll grow, I'm fine. At least I got a great service and she was super nice and I like her. To the person that would say, like, what should I do for my face shape? Or what do you think for my I love this, but what color for this? Or when you finally say, you have fine hair, you're not going to achieve that photo. Right. It has extensions.
Yes,
like it's God honest truth.
Yeah.
Like you aren't going to get
That's
there
not
because
real.
that's not your hair. But we can get you extensions and we'll get you there.
Yeah.
Your bill's going to be higher, but
yeah. It's gonna
so like that is the real truth. Like I don't feel like women should look and be like, she has so much volume in her hair. How does she do that? Most of the time it's extensions or something like.
Yeah, and I feel
just
like
really good genetics, and if you have those, you're not welcome. No,
right. It's like
welcome here.
Usually, if you're the person with the good genetics in the salon, we're all over there touching it.
Yeah,
like, give me your hair, and we're just like, this isn't real. This isn't fair. I feel like I've never met someone that was like 100% happy with their hair either, because those people are the people complaining about having too much hair. So it's like,
isn't that funny? It's like the curly straight
all the time. Yeah, it's always like you want, but you can't have to. So
true.
But
so true.
I do feel like I don't know, the job for me is to be like, okay, well, if we like, you do have thick hair and you want to like have better, more manageable hair, I can educate people in that way. And so that's like finding the stylist that'll go in and be like, hey, like this is not working for you because it's not what you want. But I'm not going to tell you, oh, that's a photo. Oh, that's a filter. Oh, that's not realistic. It's like, okay, yeah, it's a filter, but that's what they want their hair to look like.
Right.
So if they want that, I can either try to create that, tell them it's unreasonable, but find a way to still get there.
Get close.
Like, I feel like people are very, like, I've noticed it's a thing of like, hey, that's not doable. And it's just like, period, that's not doable. Yeah. That's it. And it's like, but just because it's a filter or like the hair is like photoshopped, it's like, it might be a wig, but like, that's what they want is what that wig looks like. So how can I get them as close as possible? Yeah. Like, don't just be like, it's a wig and they like done with it. It's like, no, it's not just a wig. Like, that's what they like. So,
but when you go from being the scared person in a chair to asking the right questions and opening up, and you guys like light up.
Yeah. Oh, it's so fun.
Such a different experience. Yeah. It's so that like you're nervous because you don't know if you're gonna match what the person wants because they didn't really communicate. So it's just this awkward, and then like you don't know what they're thinking when they leave. Like you know what I think when I leave.
I need open. If you don't communicate with me, I'm gonna like sit down and try to like figure you out. Like I'm not gonna start if I don't know
distracting your style.
Yeah, like if I'm spending 20 minutes, I have picked apart, like people show me, like I had a lady literally today and she's like, hey, like I don't really know what I want, what would you do? And I'm like, oh, that opens up, like I actually said this, I was like, that opens up a lot of options because I can do, like, I always joke, I'm like, I'll do a green mullet just to like see how far I can take it. And usually they're like, oh no, don't do that. I'm like, okay. But
so then you have an idea in your mind.
Yeah, you have something you might want, but it's like, what is it that you want?
Yeah.
And so from there, it's like, well, I'll tell you honestly what will go with your skin tone, but I'll also tell you that we could take it in many different directions.
Sure.
And so it's a game of like chance if you happen to get exactly what they had in mind. I feel like everyone always has something in mind, even if they don't want to say it.
Yeah.
And it's like they don't want to like. They've had people in the past maybe not listen to what they want. Yeah. But at the end of the day,
that's true too.
It's a priority for us to know as much as possible, because if I go in blind, I'm not going to create what you want. It's all about communicating.
I think we've all had that like bad experience in the chair too, where we're like, it just didn't match what you wanted, or something came out different than your expectations in your mind. And then I think that scares you too. So then you're like, well, I don't want to say anything. now, we might be.
Yeah.
But I think just keeping open dialogue.
Well, and
even if it's a bad, like, hey, this just didn't meet my expectations, being able to say that, like, we're not where I am
yeah,
right
absolutely.
now. Like, how do we get
You
closer?
should not leave if keeping that in.
No.
Don't leave. You're sitting right there.
I think
until you
everybody wants to do better. I think like everybody
Oh, yeah.
wants you to walk
Oh, yeah.
out
Oh, yeah.
confident,
Yeah.
happy.
The
So
last thing I want is someone leaving and like not being or being even more disappointed in their hair than when they came in. So it's like if I get to that point where someone's like, "Hey, we didn't really understand each other," that opens up the new conversation, and I
Yes.
want to have that conversation because that's
Yes.
my job. It's not to just do your hair; it's to make you happy. Like that's the whole
the
point.
key of a good style.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Like
right
if we're
there.
here doing hair for ourselves, we're not really doing anybody a service. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think, yeah, it happens and we are people pleasers. And I think mom, like, I was just shocked at my own mom, like going to help another grown woman with her hair.
Yeah, no, you should have a
Let's
totally
not do
open
this.
conversation with her.
Yeah, we
That is-
shouldn't be
no,
doing
that is
this
not good.
anymore.
No more.
Let these women just say what they need. All right, let's see.
I feel like I would be so scared if two moms walked up or two women walked up to me and they were like, "I don't like this." I feel like I'm being like ganged up on. I'd be like, "Oh wait, you brought in like reinforcements to tell me you didn't like your hair." Like
but I think
you
it
should be able to
speaks
tell
to
me.
like how women really don't want to speak up for themselves.
Yeah, it really
like,
does.
We don't take care of
100%.
ourselves well.
Yeah.
But giving that permission and knowing that that person behind that chair wants to hear you.
Oh, yeah.
You want to hear her voice. You want to hear what
I need to, yeah. And I mean, I'll hear it from your friend if you don't feel comfortable.
Right.
But I hope that your friend could step away eventually and we could just have a more open conversation.
Yes, for sure.
And I'll tell people if I'm not the person for them. Like I'm the first person to be like, go see this person. It's way better for you.
Yeah,
like I don't mind. I'm like, hey, like I know someone that's gonna make you way happier. If I were in your shoes, I'd send you over. I'd go there. Like, and I'm not gonna like. There's no point in me doing it. Like, go to the pro, go see them, and I love that.
Oh, and I love our quick moment of like, I want moms to like be able to get up in the morning and have that like quick way to polish and feel good. And sometimes that is literally 60 seconds. That's all we've got. And you're like, I'm not the girl for this quick updo, but I know someone who is. So we cued JC in. And I love that too. It's just such a good flow of dynamic. And I will tell you, since we did that video, I've done that style.
I did it.
I
love that. I did it the next day. I had never even seen it before. And it's not something I could even recreate. But then seeing, like, knowing my team member does it all the time, I was like, hey, you do this every morning.
Like, tap into this.
You're so quick with it. And so, yes, the first time I did it, I actually made her do it on me because I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing.
Yes.
But, like, I do hair and I don't know what I'm doing. So that's
I
okay.
went to the grocery store that day and I got a compliment.
Oh, yeah. It probably looks like it takes like 20 minutes.
So
like,
do this style. Like, this was the coolest thing because I was thinking, like, you were going to just pop something in my hair and you're like, not my thing.
Not my thing, yeah.
But I know a girl. I'm like, so let's.
When I'm lazy, I look lazy. So like, I don't even put myself together to begin with.
Well, and the point of empowered moms is we want moms to feel good.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even if you are just staying at home that day or you just have one quick errand to run, it's a difference when you walk by the mirror and you catch yourself and you're just like that one little step more polished.
You just feel better.
You do. Yeah. And moms need that so bad. Oh, yeah. Like just that little key to feel better. So do that style. You're going to get a compliment. It wasn't hard. I could do it to myself.
Now that I've seen it.
Yes.
A few times. I tried it a few times.
I watched the video back and I was like, I'm not going to be able to do that to my own head. And then I did it to my own head. And
just
it was
grab, like Lily and be like, I need to try this on you first.
Yeah. I have a personal stylist.
Just see what I'm
pretty phenomenal.
That's my life is I'm always just like someone else do this in front of me and let me see it because I don't know what I'm.
But I did it. It's achievable, and that was another thing I wanted. I don't want to put anything out for moms that's not truly achievable. Right. So I want your time when you see your. I want you to go take care of yourself, get your hair washed, get it blown out, do some self care, talk to your stylist more, and have a quick polish. Like know how to use your products and just open. Like I want this to be an open dialogue for everybody. I want every woman to feel like when she goes into that salon the same way I feel when I sit down with you. It's really comforting. It's warm. It's like I know that like you're a freaking pro girl. You make me tear up. You're so good.
I feel like that's why we're here. We're not where we do hair, but it's the connection with the women. And like if a mom like I mean you even had time to even hang out with your friends, you get in to go with the stylist, you should be able to just feel like you're at home. You're hanging out with someone that cares about you, and I feel like that's the beauty of our job is we get to do that.
Yes, moms need to feel that.
If you were to choose one product to use in your hair, find something to invest in for your hair that you want to make the biggest difference in your hair, I would tell them to invest in an oil because the oil is going to make the biggest difference in the hair cuticle, the strength of your hair. the shine of your hair. Usually oils are going to be pretty heat protectant too. So if you're getting out of the shower and you want something to detangle with really quickly, add heat protection so you can blow dry it. You don't.
Oh, I didn't even think detangler.
Oh yeah,
I put it on when it's dry.
It's the best. You need to use it wet. One pump when it's wet.
Okay.
Yeah, because if it's wet, you're also sealing that cuticle down before you blow dry it. So it's like there's moisture going inside the hair, and then as you're blow drying, it's like helping against the heat oxidizing the hair and creating like color shift. Color can change because of the heat, and so if you've got that barrier on there, it helps a lot with that. There's a lot to remember. At the end of the day, I feel like if you have too many products and you're thinking about like a foundation spray, a leave-in protection, like conditioner, all those other things, and you're avoiding the oil, if you just put the oil in your hair and that's it, that's really truly all your hair is going to need for that like heat protection. Not if you're curling, going with the heat protectant on top of that. But yeah, I feel like oil would be the thing I'd invest.
What oil?
The
like,
most
do I go to Target and get an oil?
Oh gosh,
I need to do better.
So usually oils, like I know some great tips with oils. If you wanted to look for something, it would be cold pressed oil.
Okay.
Something that basically when they make an oil and they like, let's say it's a Moroccan oil or like a marula oil, they're gonna like create the oil and then it's that skimmed off top layer of the oil that you want. So a lot of the like Target, Walmart oils, they're gonna be more of that like lower basin where it's thicker, it's sludgier, it's more like a syrup that you put in your hair. So if you pump oil in your hands and it's not like watery, it doesn't have that like thin viscosity, it is going to be so bad for your hair because it's going to just like suffocate the hair. So if you're using something,
do you feel good throwing some brands under the bus? Pitching some good ones.
Ooh, so
all right, we're gonna tag we'll only tag the good ones.
Okay, I can throw some under the bus. I know a couple. So I would probably avoid. I know, like it's like I think of all the products I used to use.
Yep.
Rusk, I would probably throw them under the bus. Paul Mitchell. I feel like anything at the price point, like this is not just saying like cheaper is bad, but also if an oil is like anywhere from like $8 to $20, I feel like you just automatically know the quality isn't going to be there. Look at it in the bottle. If it doesn't like move freely, it's probably not a good oil. If it's syrupy, yeah, because it's going to have other things in it that are like creating buildup in the hair, not good for the hair, color oxidative, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I would probably go with Kerastase. It really depends on what your needs are, but if you've got Kerastase is going to be good to like lay down coarser textures, frizz. R&Co Blue has a great, it's like optical illusion oil. If you use one pump of that, and even like the thinnest, finest, no hair, like it's not going to weigh your hair.
Okay.
If you use, however, Kerastase, you're going to weigh the hair down. So it's really more about finding what direction you need oil in.
Yep.
Orbe is great if you have like a lot of damage in your hair because that one's more reparative.
Yeah. That one is pretty good.
Yeah.
I use that one. It's pretty good.
But even if you didn't want to get into the brands, like marula oil is going to be great for thin hair, fine hair, anything with marula in it because it's a much thinner oil. Moroccan oil is going to be a heavier oil. That oil would be something I'd recommend for like a coarser texture, or like if you got like a lot of damage, use like the smallest of pumps of that and just put it on the ends because it's going to be more healing for your hair. Even like a spray oil is probably going to be good using it dry. But
well, and I will say to your credit, if you are saying invest in a little bit better, I know you mean invest in a little better and you're not doing a sales pitch because you used my girl's Honest detangler and you went and bought some.
Oh yeah.
You're like, this detangler is amazing. So I know like when it comes to certain things or like the Pacifica stuff that we love, clean ingredients.
Yeah.
You're like, get that.
Another one.
But if you're saying don't grab the oil off the shelf at Target, then I know she means
I
grab the
for
oil
shampoo and conditioner. I usually my rule of thumb is like no alcohol, no sulfates that aren't like natural based, and then like no salts, no parabens, stuff like that. Usually those bottles like Pacifica Native on the back, it'll say what all that stuff is, and it breaks it down ingredient by ingredient.
Yeah.
When I've read the ingredients on those, it's like coconut oil. It's very natural stuff, and so are the sulfates in there maybe not as like high quality as the nicer brands, sure, but like, do you need the $70 shampoo if you can get the 20 that still is going to be in the right range?
And you still go to your stylist, right?
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day,
for your proper shampoo.
If you're using like the two products I would invest the most in would be a mask and an oil.
Okay.
Hairspray. I'm not saying use like
it's all
Aussie, but it's all buildup.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like the nicer ones don't have enough hold. So it's like, I'm not gonna lie, like
it's me and my hair right now. It's like
like if you would put some like Aussie in there, it would have been stuck. So
it
just depends on what you need it for. But I'm not saying use Aussie. But I'm also just saying for me, it's like I kind of have like a priority of what people need
Sure.
and like the cleansing part of the hair where your hair's the most fragile, your hair's the
Yep.
most vulnerable when it's wet. So if you can put something in it good when it's wet and then
Yep.
once it's dry, like a heat protectant, at the end of the day, your cuticle of your hair when it's shut, if you put a heat protectant on it that's a little cheaper, you're still protecting the hair in a sense,
Sure.
but you're better off if you or I guess you're not as bad off as if you were using like a cheap oil. Because if that
Sure.
cheap oil is under there and you're putting heat on it, you're like cooking your hair almost. Yeah. So
Yikes. Tell everybody to run to the cabinet and just do some extra virgin olive oil
Yeah.
instead of the crap in the other.
do not believe those like rice washes and then like people do like mayonnaise in their hair and eggs in their hair. Like they're just oils. Of course they're gonna feel good, but what are the long-term benefits of that? Like I don't know if mayonnaise can really get inside
I
of
put
your hair.
mayonnaise in my kid's hair. I did it.
Did you really?
I did it.
Oh my god.
Mom fail number one.
They probably smell great.
It was disgusting, and one of my children got a rash from it.
Oh,
so
yeah, don't do that.
don't put mayonnaise
No.
in his hair, no matter how great everything said.
No.
Put mayonnaise on your children's
No,
hair.
don't put
Make it
mayonnaise in
shiny.
your hair.
Just go to your stylist.
Sure, it'll be shiny, but it's going to be mayonnaise. It's mayonnaise.
Disgusting trying to get that out. For sure, just gross. All right, so I think the other thing we probably need to voice over is end the ever-loving debate of how often I should wash my hair.
Okay.
Okay.
So, it might be an unpopular opinion. I don't know. I feel like everyone's
What's
got
popular
an
anymore and
opinion.
unpopular?
No,
I don't even know.
I feel like the popular opinion is just different based off of someone's like regimen that they use.
Yes.
But also, my logic is if you get greasy, wash your hair. If you work out, wash your hair. If there is something on your scalp suffocating your scalp in any way, wash your hair.
Okay.
If you use a ton of product, wash your hair. But if you are at the house doing nothing, having a lazy day, hanging out at home, you washed your hair that morning, you're not going anywhere till it's Friday night, you're not going anywhere till Sunday, don't wash your hair till Sunday. If not later than that, if you can make it that way. I feel like a lot of the time it's like, oh, well, you need to stay on this routine.
Yes.
And it's like,
that's the thing. That's the trending thing.
Yes, the hair
I think
routine.
some big hair guy said only wash it once
big
a
hair.
week.
I have beef with big hair. Don't do that.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I feel like you should
not be washing your hair more than once a week, or you are destroying.
You're ruining your hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I heard that.
Yes.
But it's greasy.
Yeah. If you're greasy, your scalp is suffocating. Your hair's not going to grow, so you need to wash it.
Feel good when it's that. I mean, I can dry shampoo. I can stretch an extra day and put a hat on.
Yeah.
I've got some cute hats.
Yeah,
but
those are essential too. But if you put that dry shampoo on day one, you don't have to worry so much about that. Yeah. But also, if you go hiking, go wash your hair. Don't be gross. Don't be like, oh, hair wash day is until Thursday.
Yes.
You're doing disservice to your hair.
Okay.
And I feel like too, it depends on, there's a lot of variables. If your color is like super reactive to washing it, maybe wash it with cold water. Maybe don't use a shampoo and just rinse and condition.
So hold the phone right there. That's a debate too. Hot or cold? Like, what do I do? Does it matter?
Cold water will shut the cuticle. Hot water does open the cuticle. So if you've got a color like red or you've got something like a vivid color, something brighter, if you're using hot water, that's like blasting the cuticle open and just moving all that color out. So it's just going to remove all of it.
You just washed all your money.
You literally washed your money.
Put your money in a
Don't do
bucket
that.
and light it on fire.
Yeah.
Don't do
That's
that.
basically what you're doing. If you put red hair color in your hair and then wash it with hot water, you're asking to get your hair done next week.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but
so what about for like you as a blonde or me just with the hair with some highlights? Go cold or does it really?
I feel like I'd go like do not do the shower where you're like coming out red and the whole bathroom steamy. Like that can be your body shower. When you do the shower on your hair, make it like not lukewarm, but like warmer than that. Something that doesn't feel like if it feels too hot, it's way too hot.
Yeah.
But don't freeze yourself. I feel like if your hair's healthy, you're probably not gonna ruin your hair color by using warm water, but cold water is probably not necessary.
I do the cold water and rinse now because
everyone's saying that. I know. I actually heard that when I was little, and like I've always done that.
You've done it.
I've done it my whole life.
You have hair, so do it.
But I feel like
there's your proof.
I feel like
the proof is in the pudding. Like if you are making these claims to only wash your hair once a week.
Yeah.
And you don't look good. Wash your hair more than once a week. Like it's nonsense. And like you have to do these regimens.
I also feel like there's this thing of like training your hair where people are like, oh, well, you just need to go 7 days. So that way you can get to 8 days. And it's just like
I tried it.
Even what if by day 3 you're so gross that like you can't make it to day 7? Wash it. Because then guess what? If you wash it properly, get it really clean, the next time it might be 6 days. There is a logic there, but I don't feel like it's even a real thing. Like, I just don't understand that.
some guy woke up who runs a very large hair company and wanted to be trending and did this once a week crap.
Yeah. He's like, hey, we'll just do this. And then you have to buy a shampoo and a mask. And it's like, suddenly you're like knee deep in product that you didn't need because there's like a regimen that you're supposed to be following. And it's like, no, it's like your face. Like it's your scalp and your skin are, it's not like it's different. So if you're using skincare and you're taking care of your skin all the time, you and I have totally different skincare routines. We have totally different skin. So like people are like shaming people that wash their hair every day. That might be essential because it might be so much oil in their hair. That
I have oily.
So I don't shame anybody that washes their hair once a week or once every day or, you know, maybe twice a day. I'd be like, hey, chill out a little bit. But if you're used to washing it once a day, your hair's used to that. I'm not going to say it's a bad thing.
Or your every 2 weeker. If you could just do her a service and just
like once in between.
One more wash.
Just one more. Or maybe dry shampoo it.
It's critical. So the mask I think is another one too. Like I didn't use that before. I would just use bigger pumps of my regular conditioner.
Just like, let me use some more.
Gob that in and it'll do the thing. But then when I actually like was a grown up and bought a hair mask, it's a so huge difference.
I feel like doing like a once a week, like even if you can't get into the salon for the blowout, like at home, pick a day of the week, make it your clarify mask day and do like a mineral removing shampoo and then follow it with like a mask. If you've got color, use a color protecting mask. If you have breakage, use a breakage mask. Like find the issue and pinpoint that, clarify your hair to get all the bad stuff out and then put that mask on and it's going to work so much better. But you don't need to use that all the time. The mask, if you're investing in it, you don't want to waste it. Use it once a month and once a week, you'll be good.
But I do.
But yeah, they're way more intense than a conditioner will
be. I mean, these little tips I think have been like game changers for not only my hair health, but that kind of turned my hair confidence too. When your hair is healthy, it's a whole different ballgame.
It goes from like someone coming in all the time and being like, I just am not happy with my hair, and then they go home and they take care of it, and it's like they're coming back happier. And I haven't really changed what I'm doing for them, but at home I've been able to help them find new ways to, you know, take care of the hair.
It matters. And I've learned too how much scissors cost for these girls. I'm thinking like when I go to, you know, the hobby store and buy a nice scissors, $4,000. Tip your stylist. There's our next PSA for every mom everywhere. Tip this poor.
My most recent scissors cost more than my first car.
If that doesn't prove how educated and amazing and wonderful you are back there, like behind the chair, tip your stylist and know like you're investing to serve people well and give them good hair health and good education.
I don't do it so I can have fancy scissors. I do it so I can make a difference on how I cut hair. I want your hair to look good.
I can't wait for you to use
I'm so excited. I haven't used it yet. I'm so excited.
So I think there is like when you can get to this dialogue with your stylist, when you can just have permission to sit in that chair and open up and just be okay to talk, like this is the experience I think every mom should have.
Absolutely.
So like talk. Just be open. It's okay.
Enjoy it. I mean, at the end of the day, we love to run our mouths. So we love a good conversation. We look forward to it.
Tell them
I would not,
how terrible your kids are.
I want it. I love families.
I don't because you also cut my kids.
No.
Good kids. I'm lucky. They are fantastic girls. But let your dump your drama.
I love it.
Tell them about your mother-in-law.
I love the mother-in-law. Tell me all about it. I love the mother-in-law.
Family stress, but I think that is it. Just like gives you that glimpse in their lifestyle too. I mean,
and we get it, you know, and it's fun too when I don't have to think about my own. You know, I can just go. I can think about yours and just like hear about yours.
I'm not the only crazy. We're all crazy.
If you're at home and let's say you get a blowout from me, and before you leave, I'm gonna ask you like, hey, like, how do you plan on maintaining this? If you're gonna maintain it at home, I'd recommend getting like a silk cap. They make those bendy heatless curlers. If your hair's already blown out, it's going to hold the shape of the blowout. It might add a little bit of wave, but it's not going to kink it like a braid would. So if you're like braiding your hair before you go to bed, you get that little ponytail into it, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of imitates more of a blowout.
This spot.
Ruins it, and then you're like wake up and you're like, okay, let me just cut that off.
That's gone now.
But like I feel like the silk like bonnet kind of helps the most because it zero traction. If you can't.
Where does a girl of this day find the silk bonnet?
Amazon.
Okay.
It's probably Temu.
Okay.
Anywhere. I would get, and if you can't, like let's say
My
sleeping in,
husband's gonna love this
yes, if you
one.
can't, yeah, right. Well, yeah, it's not, it's super sexy. Yeah, if you feel like, okay, I cannot
I'm like,
sleep at
ah,
night.
I can work a slip on it, but I'll just wait till he falls asleep. We're good.
Yeah,
It's
no,
fine.
keep it in bed, throw that thing on. If you can't, like, I feel like for me, I cannot sleep in one, so I got a silk pillowcase.
Yes,
And so
I have that.
yeah, that makes a huge
It makes
difference.
a difference for my skin too. I mean,
Oh, I
like
love
my
a silk
breakouts,
pillowcase.
like I would
Yes.
always get the like the
Oh yeah.
hormonal breakouts
Oh
still
yeah.
at this age. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
see like much of any of that anymore.
No.
And my hair, like the
Well,
breakage and all
if it can
that.
just like slide like that, do you use that overnight serum? The
Yes,
Kerastase. So
yes.
Kerastase, if you use that in combination with a silk pillowcase, it's like basically silk pillowcases like rubbing on each other all night. Like you wake up and your hair's still soft. So those are the things I tell
We
people.
know
Maybe
it's so
you need the silk
that's a good time.
pillowcase.
All right,
But
do the pillowcase, do the cap if you can get that one past your husband. I'm gonna get like a big plaid nightgown to go with it
yeah,
too, and just really just come at him guns hot.
well, if you want to be real fancy with it, you should just roll it in rollers, little foam rollers.
I used to wear those when I was little.
Yeah, roll it up, put on a
I
nice.
had curly hair. My mom didn't know what to do with it, so she permed it.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Sorry, Mom. I love you. She did her best. We didn't know back then.
Mhm.
We didn't have this little device.
Was it like
to tell
out
us
here?
something. It was bad.
Yeah.
It was froze. Like it just froze it right back out.
Insert
It was-
picture. No,
Yeah. I'll show a picture. I'm okay. I'm okay with my past
I feel
self.
like we moved on
I
from that.
embrace it. But yes, it's just all the things we didn't have access to before as far as information that our stylist behind the chair did.
Yes.
And why that stylist didn't say, honey, don't perm this girl's naturally curly hair.
Right.
Let me show you how to take care of it.
Yeah. No, you need the relationship. You need to know the person. Yeah. You can't just go in blind.
It was bad. Yeah. I had permed curly hair, which then destroyed, I think, most of my natural curl. As I'm blow drying, what are like key things to do to get some volume on blow drying?
I would say like using the nozzle,
Okay.
the if you don't use the attachment, you're just like blowing wind at your hair. You need to have that like
Okay.
concentrator on it because the concentrator makes a big difference.
Okay.
Because you can just go in and like hold it under the root and like if you put that mousse in, you can like literally blow it up. If you have a round brush, you can blow it with it.
Yeah.
I don't even do that to myself. I'll just take and like flip it over, blow dry up at the root.
Okay.
Direct the heat towards the end of the hair.
Okay.
So if you're sitting here with it like this, pointed at this part of your hair, you're just like roughing it up and fuzzing it. So you want to come from like underneath, blowing it this way. Basically take your hair the opposite direction of where you actually want your hair to be. So if you know you want like that nice swoop here, you're going to want to take it this way.
Yeah.
If you try to blow dry it this way, you're just going to end up flatter than you want to be.
Yep. That makes sense. I like that. So how do I like what is the deal with the rollers? Where do I need them? How do I do them? How big?
I would do them. So I feel like I would do them from like where your bangs start around the face.
Okay.
Not really like around your ears, but if you've got like a little curtain bang or something, take both sides of your part. You want to almost like pull it forward. I'm just gonna act this out because I feel like that makes more sense. But if you want to pull it forward, and it's almost like the further you like drop it down, the more of like a swoop you're gonna get to your hair.
Oh, okay.
So if you're like sitting here and you're like rolling it right here, it's just gonna fall there. But if you're here, you're creating this like lift in here. So it's almost like you wanna like pull it off the base of your head, like pull it forward. And I wouldn't get a roller that you can't wrap your hair around at least once. Okay. General rule of thumb is like 2 times, but that's like if you're trying to curl the hair with it.
Okay.
But if you can get like a good like one circle around the hair, get that end tucked in, it's gonna stay longer. Get like flat bill clips, like just like something flat, use that. And then I wouldn't do more than 1 or 2. You could do one behind that, but anywhere else.
Like how long do you leave it in?
If your hair's like if you're drying your hair and like let's say you just dried it while it's still hot, even if it's not hot, take it, pull it forward, heat it up, and then take the roller, let it cool on it. It shouldn't take long to cool, like not long. If you go from like wet and you want to sleep with it in or something like that, you can sleep in it and then wake up. Might be a little fuzzy, but
I usually like go get my breakfast, leave it in, then go back and pull it out and finish like any touch up curls.
Yeah, and I'll even sometimes put it in and then you get those like little baby hairs. And what I'll do is I'll put my blow dryer on like medium heat, low blow, and like blow those into the roller so like smooths them down.
Okay, that's a good point too.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll leave the house with them in and pull them out like when we're approaching somewhere. And my favorite is like when the kids are going to school.
You're in the line, like
oh yeah, no, I'm in like the drop off line or the pickup line, or like we'll get to the like a stoplight and they're like, get those out of your hair, everybody can see you. And I'm like, I don't care.
You're like, I'm drying right now. Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
It'll be like the days they remember their mom.
Well, you can also
rollers in the car.
I feel like taking it and like even if you wanted to take a curling iron that size and curl it and then put it on a roller, you're getting the same effect. That's a better way to heat it up if you're like really wanting to.
And then I probably
do
don't need to leave it in quite as long.
Yeah, it's way quicker.
Yeah, no.
But I feel like rollers like you can get like a 6-pack.
I've had the same pack of rollers since college.
I've had the same one forever.
They're clean, like I washed them, but I'm like, I don't want to buy new ones. These work really well.
Do you use hot rollers or like Velcro rollers? Velcro, yeah. Those are the ones I have. The hot rollers are nice, but I'm just
they are. Okay, so I had a set and it was just taking up cabinet space, and then I went on that like cleanse all the stuff in your house that doesn't bring you joy. Don't do that. You need your stuff.
Yeah. Spark joy.
Well, yeah, I got rid of them, and now I'm like, if I had those heat rollers, I'm like, if we have something to go to or like a date night, I'm like, those heat rollers kind of would have been nice. So
yeah,
now I feel sad that I don't have them.
They would have sparked joy.
They might have sparked
they
my joy.
Spark some joy.
But instead, I'm gonna stay here with my curlers.
Yeah.
And do all the dang things. I'm very open with that. Like I don't have any shame in telling other women like when they're like, your hair's pretty, I'm like, it's extensions.
Oh yeah, I bought it. That's what I tell you.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I bought it.
I paid for it.
Yeah. It's mine.
Yep. It's mine because I paid for it.
Oh yeah.
But I never want a woman, especially when like a woman with fine hair comes up to me and she's like, your hair's really pretty. And I'm like, it's extensions.
Yeah. Oh, that's a big thing for me.
Yeah.
Well, and people always be like, oh, your hair, like the highlights. I'm like, oh no, they're extensions. I don't want to color my hair, so I just wear an extension. So for me,
so you have extensions in now.
I have extensions.
Are you okay admitting that?
Yeah, totally. Oh, totally. Yeah. No, I tell everyone. For me, it's like I have a lot of people that want to be low maintenance with their color. They don't like color, and I'm like, here's an option that takes all the color out. You do have to maintain this. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour. So for them, it's like a much better option. And confidence wise, it's way more confidence building than color is. In my opinion.
I feel like as a mom, it's a time saver.
Oh,
everyone's like, you put more hair in, but you're spending less time. And I'm like, a zillion %.
You curl it like once, it holds so much better than natural hair. I feel like you can wash it less.
And the growth and health, oddly, of my natural hair is so much different.
It's so rewarding to like buy a set of hair, see where you're starting, and then when you finally like get a new set, your hair's almost at the same length as your old hair.
And
like
it
your
feels
extensions.
better.
It feels better. It almost protects the hair, I feel like.
And I'm taking better care of it because I know I spent money on this stuff. Like the rest of my hair gets better care when these are in.
That's really what makes it healthier. Suddenly you have to like take care of it.
Natural hair is neglect. I mean, when I just sit in your chair and I'm like, this is what neglect looks like right here. But when these are in, I'm like, I don't feel too bad going to her today.
I curl it. I paid for this.
Good. It's taking care of my hair. I used my mask. I did it.
It takes so much better care of my hair now.
It does. It changes it. Okay, where do I get this little wand thing? If I can't, like, is there one that's not Salon that you recommend, or are you specific about this?
So I think that one is actually, they're all about the same price. I feel like in like that range. They may have one. It's basically like clear mascara. So I wouldn't say it's like mascara. It's probably less sticky.
Don't put clear mascara on your hair.
No,
that was not an invite.
It was not. No,
don't do that.
It's like a little tube and it'll last you. I mean, I've had mine since I started in like March. So I've had it for a while. But I know that the one we have is like a CBD. It kind of like is more like it's got higher quality ingredients. But I feel like you could probably, I'm like, I love Amazon. Can you tell? Everything is Amazon.
Yes.
I would probably just look for one that's as little ingredient as possible. Yeah. That's not something you need a lot of ingredients in. So it's like what's in there. But it's like hairspray in a tube because then you don't have that like flyaway, but it's not sticky at all. Like it's like your hair still looks
I feel like I'd want that like right here, right now, in these pieces.
I love to use it like right here. And then like these guys, like I'll take these and just kind of like brush them down a little bit.
What are these?
Yeah.
Like go away.
Little baby hairs. Yes. Yeah, just lay them down with that like little layered and just lay them down. You know, I'll tuck mine behind my ear and then I'll take these little guys and just lay them down.
Okay.
You can throw it in your purse, throw it in your car. I think I have two. Like
it's a good polish tip. Like, just if you're getting out and you just want to feel a little polished, you just take that little wand. I feel like
So
every mom
perfect.
should have that in her purse.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and if you like the slick back look, if you're like using all that gel and everything, you slick your hair back, you get a little hot, it starts to fall a little bit. You can take that and like press it in and it'll like slick it back down.
Do people like actually slick back their hair when it's not already just greasy slick back?
Yeah, apparently. I just actually thought that the other day because I had a girl come in and I was like, ew.
Time I slick my back when it's greasy.
Well, it was just really funny because I like touched her hair and I was like, oh, and she's like, oh, it's gel, sorry. And I was like, oh my gosh, I thought you were like,
did that when your hair was clean.
You did that on purpose? Like I thought it was oil in her hair.
It's a thing now.
Yeah, it's
because my little resident hairstylist here has told me that she needs that specific gel stuff to slick it.
I know. I thought it was
just don't wash your hair for 3 days. And you'll have natural.
I thought it was just old hair, not even gonna lie. Like when I first found out, she was like I went to touch it and it looked wet. I was like, what's in your hair? Like, okay. She's like, oh no, it's this gel. And I was like, oh thank God. Like I thought you were just
okay. So I come to you with 3-day hair. Sometimes 4, I'm not gonna lie. If it's like I know I'm going tomorrow, I'll stretch the 4th day. No, but like you would prefer not to see 2-week hair.
Yeah, especially if you're color. I will say everything they make nowadays is super organic and super clean, and people think they have to have like dirty hair to get their hair done, but no, you should probably have cleaner hair. I feel like if you're like within 5 days, 4 or 5 days, depending, you're probably fine.
More than that, you would. As a stylist, you'd prefer that they wash their hair before they see you at that point.
If you know you're getting a color of any kind done, your scalp really does need to be clean to have the best results. So yeah, generally, if you're doing like a shampoo style, bring your nasty head in. I don't care. Like I'll wash your 2-week-old hair. That's fine. It's kind of fun. It's like let's transform you.
Let me fix
let me get in there. But yeah, if you're getting color done, I'd have to wash it beforehand. So it's like we just need to take care of that beforehand.
Just take care of your business before you get in the chair.
Just get the grease off.
Get that out of there. Okay, noted. I won't go past my day 4. I'll wash it for you.
It'll be fine. We'll figure it out.
Well, I love you, friend. Thank you for taking the time to do this. I feel like the way this serves moms, and we just kind of help them do better for themselves.
Absolutely.
Have more courage when you're in that chair to just speak your mind.
We don't bite. I mean, some of us
got sharp scissors.
So we do have sharp scissors.
Watch how you approach them.
Yeah, be nice. You can control how you leave.
Well, and I think most stylists are you're creative, so you're that emotional based too. So your feelings are a little more sensitive. I think not to the point where like if someone told you, "Hey, I don't love this," you're gonna fix it because you're a professional. But I think just be kind with it and just open the dialogue
and create a conversation. Like don't go in with that conversation in mind, and want to do what your hair can handle, but also if you want a big change, like embrace that period of change. Like don't think you're gonna go from dark brown to white in one sitting. Embrace the copper for a little while.
We've had this conversation. I'm like, could you please not make this red anymore? I love red on other people. When I see a beautiful girl, like redhead girl,
I love red hair.
I like. Oh my gosh, I like admire her. I'm probably staring too long like a weirdo. I'm sorry. But I'm like, how does she pull that off? Because the minute I get it on me, I'm like with my skin tone, I just feel like it's terrible. So when I see that little bit and I'm like, can you get this? Can you change? And then can we go all the way blonde? And you're like, not today, but we'll get you there. So I think that open dialogue of like, and then I don't expect you to be a magician either. No, you're not.
Yeah, we want to do as much as we can in one setting, but I feel like most of us would rather your hair be in good standing, like in a month do a different change and keep it where it should be in health purposes. Like the color is the priority, obviously, but embrace that little bit of warmth sometimes because otherwise it'll break off.
We don't
want to do that.
So, well, thank you for doing this for me today. Just served like multiple times. We did in salon. We're doing here for you all, and just appreciate you so much.
Absolutely.
And hope that this served you well. So love your stylist. Talk with her, and if you're not comfortable, maybe shop around because I feel like you should be really comfortable with your stylist.
Most everyone does a consultation. Book that.
Hold on. Okay. All right,
book that 15-minute appointment, go in and consult, tell them what you want. Even if you just want to get a read for the room, like we are even trained as hairstylists when we want to work somewhere to book that appointment, pretend to consult. Go in, maybe get your hair shampooed to find out if you want to work somewhere. So why wouldn't you want to shop around with us and figure out who you want to do your hair? And I feel like even if you get online and go on like local searches for like your location and go into that, demographic, like Lynchburg, I'll go on Lynchburg's and like look at people's hair all the time. And it's not just about what they're doing, but you want to see like the space they have and see if it looks comfortable. But yeah, going for a consultation. I love when people come in to talk because it gives us a
Yeah.
chance to figure out if we're like a good fit or not.
Yes. And you should be
Yeah,
comfortable
and
walking in.
I feel like most of us would appreciate that anyways, because then we get
Yeah.
a chance to see if we're a good fit for you too. Because
Yeah.
it's not just a one-way street. We both want to be a good fit. So
Like I walk in and everybody says hello and it's warm and they bring me wine and I get a nice long shampoo. I don't know if I feel like you give me VIP treatment. I'm probably getting the same shampoo you give everybody, but I'm gonna pretend.
everyone's a VIP. No,
Okay.
you're all VIPs. When you're in my chair, you're all VIPs. But you need to find that environment that you feel that comfortable in.
I agree. I think when you walk in,
yeah.
you feel if you're not feeling that in your salon, you don't feel like you can have this open dialogue. Just find there's
shop around, and at the end of the day, you might find the person, like you might have to do 3 consultations, but on your third, you might find the person that understands you better than anyone else has. So why not take that extra time, find a comfortable place, and at the end of the day, just
and you can have this.
Yeah, exactly.
You're missing
like
out.
Yeah, you are. I feel like a lot of people are missing out sometimes. So we could have such a relationship.
Yeah.
I love doing hair, but I love the people more. So like it's just at the end of the day, it's the.
But you're really good at hair too.
I do like doing that part too.
Yeah, she's really good at it. So
I love it.
Yeah. I love it too. Well, thank you for doing this.
Yes, thank you.
Just showing up for these moms today and the way that you poured into people you don't even know just speaks volumes for your character and who you are. And love you for it.
Yeah,
thank you,
you.
friends.
Yeah.